football takes center stage in the scruffy city where one Knoxville looks to continue its charge of the USL League One table against the new kids on the block in Westchester SC. Tonight's match is brought to you by Markman's Diamonds, Knoxville's hometown jeweler. We say hello and welcome from Covenant Health Park. I'm Sam Goldfarb. Here is your look at the USL League One table presented by Realty Executives, and it is two teams on polar ends of the standings off playoff pace. They've struggled to get results consistently, hoping to turn that around away from home here this evening. It sets the stage for a very interesting clash between teams that are polar opposites on the pitch. One Knoxville side that is one of the elite defensive units in all of USL League One. That's largely due to their elite goalkeeping and rock-solid back line. Teams rave about their organization. Ian Fuller is thrilled with the way they take opposing attacks out of matches. On the opposite end of things, though, a Westchester side great going forward, but struggling massively at the back. The most goals allowed in the league, individual errors, lapses in concentration, and frankly, so many personnel changes over the course of the last 3 months or so has had them struggling to grind out results. And when you look at the numbers, it tells the full story. A One Knox side that's conceded the second least goals in the league and has dropped the least points. Meanwhile, Westchester dropping the most points from winning positions. Their rocky back line has prevented them from grinding out results this season. So there is a pretty clear discrepancy between these two entities. One great at the back, one struggling. And on the subject of Westchester, it has been a rather unique 72 hours or so. A Westchester team that fell 3-2 on paper, but awarded a 3-0 victory against the league leaders in Spokane due to the use of an illegal substitution in Javier Martin. A very weird turn of events. We had about a 5-minute stoppage in the middle of the game as they tried to sort things out. Ultimately, it would finish 3-2 to Spokane, but Westchester awarded the victory in rather unique circumstances. A team that earns 3 points, a much needed 3 points, but one that didn't obviously take care of business on the pitch. We are just about set for the second meeting between One Knoxville and Westchester. A One Knoxville side looking to continue its surge up the table. A Westchester side desperate to get back in the win column. Stick with us. Lineups and kickoff next from Knoxville.
Blew my mind away.
It's not just a nationwide company that's trying to get your money and then jacking up your prices every other month.
$65 a month, every month, no questions asked.
It's so fast.
So my speeds have quadrupled, actually.
Believe me, you will see the difference.
If you can get KUB fiber in your neighborhood, get it. 10 out of 10, I would recommend it.
Back here in Knoxville, tonight's starting 11 is brought to you by the fastest internet in the world, KUB Fiber. And for One Knoxville, 3 changes from the midweek 3-1 victory over AV Alta. No Stuart Ritchie or Mark Doyle. Both went off injured in that match. so Ian Fuller forced to make some changes. Nico Rosamilia, our player to watch, had a goal and an assist in that contest and earned his way into the starting lineup. When we pivot to the opposite end of things for Westchester in their road white kits today, 2 changes from what was the 3-0 forfeit win over Spokane. Johnny Bolaños is back into the side after a brief sojourn as a substitute, and no Josh Drack in the 11. Bobby Pierre taking his place at right back. You wonder if this looks more like a 3-back in the build-up for Dave Carton's bunch. Just about set for kickoff from Covenant Health Park, the new home venue of one Knoxville SC, also the home of the Knoxville Smokies in minor league baseball. It is a fantastic venue, seats over 6,000. The supporters have come out in full force and set a record as well for attendance in their home opener. We're underway. It is Westchester that gets us underway, going from right to left on your screen. One Knox in the home blues from left to right. And already Westchester trying those PSG kickoff tactics, booting it as far as possible and forcing Knoxville to build. And that they will through Stavros Zarakostis. A flashing cross in, not dealt with just yet. And Westchester already under fire to begin things. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action this evening from the Old City in Knoxville. More Knox fans had plenty to cheer about Wednesday night. Toppled the team that was second in the league table in AV Alta. What a thrilling affair that was, despite all of the early adversity, with Mark Doyle exiting after just 6 minutes. Jaheim Brown scoring his first goal just 22 minutes into action. They were pegged back in the second half, but 2 goals in the final 10 minutes for the home side helped one Knox see out arguably their best victory of the year. Hougley looking over the top to Babacar Dieng, and Jackaman caught out. Dieng opening the scoring already. Calamity for Westchester. One Knox off to a flyer. Babacar Dieng, with his second league goal of the year, gives Knoxville the lead inside 2 minutes. This is not a moment that Dane Jackaman will want to watch back tomorrow. It's Route 1 football. Jackaman mistimes this completely, and a simple chip from Babacar Dieng does the job. Plenty to celebrate in Knoxville right now. Brutality for Westchester. As you take a look at that again, roll the beautiful bean footage on our Bush's Best instant replay. Babacar Dieng drawing first blood for one Knox after what was, it must be said, a brutal error by Dane Jackaman between the sticks. Dieng, the 28-year-old out of Senegal, who spent last year in the USL Championship with Pittsburgh Riverhounds, but struggled to break into the regular side there, has slowly emerged as a go-to option up front in Kempis Tequila's absence. A 5th in all comps, a 2nd in league play. And Babacar Dieng off to a flyer for the hosts. Well, if you are just joining us, it's already been blink and you'll miss it. Babacar Dieng in the 2nd minute, opening the scoring. And the home side one Knoxville definitely will play to its advantage now. A team that is known for its obdurate defensive efforts, one that has dropped just 4 points from winning positions all year. And they'll send Zarakostis through again. This time won't catch up to it. Well, Dane Jackaman already an early figure drawing some scrutiny tonight for Westchester. Talking to Dave Carton earlier this week ahead of the Spokane match, he mentioned he's been proud of Jackman's ability to bounce back from what was a rocky performance in Spokane in early May, a match in which the scoreline was level at halftime, and Jackman made a similar mistake to the one you just saw. Came well off his line, mistimed a ball. That time actually got to it and then lost it, and it wound up being a routine tap-in for Anwar Pelaez. After that, Jackman was dropped to the bench for 6 consecutive matches, and Andrew Hammersley took his spot, but Jackman stayed ready, according to Dave Carton, and reclaimed the starting role. Unfortunately for him, that was not a moment that will live in his Hall of Fame of career moments. Still plenty of time to redeem himself over the course of these 90 minutes, though. On the subject of Westchester, we touched on what was a forfeit victory over Spokane. They actually lost the match 3-2, but as we said in the open, an ineligible substitute for Lee Wiedemann's side and Javier Martin entered the fray, played about 16 minutes and contributed to what was the winning penalty. Played the ball in that led to this spot kick that Anwar Pelaez dispatched of in the 75th, as there's a violation against Angelo Kelly. And because of that, Westchester fell on paper, but the next day, the league office reevaluated the footage and awarded the 3 points to Westchester. And when you factor in how hard points have been to come by for a Westchester team that is battling in a gridlocked bottom half of the USL League One table, that proved pretty crucial. Now just 5 points off playoff pace, but can't afford to just salt away that gift with a poor performance tonight. Already forced to play from behind. This is Prince Sadie. He scored against Knoxville the last time these two teams met on June 7th. Now Powder. Overlapping run by Bolaños. Cross deflected away. And an overzealous challenge from Noah Powder. Well, he is one of the more dynamic presences going forward, Powder. Came back from his stint with the Trinidad and Tobago national team on Gold Cup duty. Back in the side. The man he'll be trying to score on, that is Johan Garibay between the sticks for the second consecutive match. Sean Lewis, the usual #1, is unavailable for the second consecutive contest. Missed the Avialta game as well. Garibay regarded as one of the top backups in USL League One and has already played big minutes under fire. Sean Lewis missing the opening month of the season, so Garibay was definitely thrown amongst it. Throw in here for Jaheim Brown and company. Well, not the long throw he'd be hoping for. I've already alluded to one Knox and their nice bounce back period here. 3 wins in the last 4 league matches, 2 wins on the trot entering this evening. When you factor in what was a bit of a wobble from the midway point of May to the early stages of June, 6 matches winless, this is a welcome response as Dean Guzin is booked for that reckless tackle on Callum Johnson. See this knocked ahead, Guzin leaves the boot high. Not a lot of malice in it, but certainly worthy of a caution. And no time wasted by Mark Verso to enter a man into the book. For one Knox, it has been a rather consistent campaign for Ian Fuller in his first season. They were the last unbeaten in USL League One. That streak lasting 6 league matches. into the start of May, before the winless rut that was accompanied by a loss in focus at the back at times. Ian Fuller saying earlier in the year he felt that his side wasn't fully up to the physical challenges of matches compared to the early stages of the season, but they've certainly recaptured things. As Brown's cross comes in. Off to a tremendous start here, albeit accompanied by rather considerable misfortune with Westchester. Bolaños, and this is Powder. Ten minutes gone, a 1-0 advantage for One Knoxville, courtesy of Babacar Dieng in the 2nd minute. Dane Jackman mistiming a run off his line and paying the price. It was the easiest finish Dieng will have throughout the season. Caputo. It's a loose back pass from Kelly, one that ultimately does no harm. Got your look moments ago at the big man up front for Westchester SC, J.C. Obregon Jr. Tied for the lead in the Golden Boot race at the moment for Westchester. A team that is prolific going forward. 20 goals prior to the match on Wednesday night. Scored 2 more in that, but it doesn't count on their official record. Instead awarded with a 3-0 victory. Obregon himself scored in that match. It was a gritty effort after missing a penalty early in affairs. It's knocked over the top to Johnson, and he is offside. Sadie. He's so dangerous whenever he latches onto it, and One Knox knows that better than most. Powder. Bolaños giving chase. Jaheim Brown winning the foot race. Player that Ian Fuller raves about. He's talked about how his fullbacks, referring to Stuart Ritchie, who's not in the squad, and Jaheim Brown, are 2 of the best attack-minded fullbacks in the league. And around the midway point of this year, he talked a lot about trying to leverage that a bit more and create more overloads going forward. Here's Obregon, hits this first time, and it nearly snuck in. Well, he had Gary Bay beaten and just trickling beyond that far post. You see him take a touch, hit it on the half volley. And Gary Bay did get a pair of palms to it, it seems. May have we've already mentioned off the top, 2nd ever meeting between these 2 sides. The first a 1-1 draw in Westchester, and what was a rather thrilling affair. Westchester taking the fight to Knoxville early. Stuart Ritchie was sent off with a straight red for denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity just shortly before halftime, and that opened up the door for Prince Sadie to open up the scoring shortly after the restart. But then Joel Johnson sent off with the 2nd yellow. Tempest Tequila towards the tail end of that 2nd half, able to snatch an equalizer from the penalty spot. Made for what was a thrilling final 15 minutes. Back and forth the teams went. Heroics by both goalkeepers, but ultimately finishing level at 1-1. Both teams probably feeling they could have claimed all 3. Now this is played into Knoxville's hands, it must be said. The home team in USL League One in action at this current moment also has scored. So you look at the scores on your screen right now. Charlotte a 1-0 lead over Portland Hearts of Pine. And how about this? Chattanooga Red Wolves claiming the early advantage over Spokane Velocity, a team that prior to its forfeit would have been 13 matches unbeaten in league play, which would have been just 2 games off of the record. All of those matches on ESPN Plus tonight on a jam-packed Saturday of USL League One football. Obregon committing the transgression on Caputo. Some frustration early on for the captain. He is diminutive, but he is a pit bull. Relentless in the press, deceptively good at heading the ball despite being just around 5'8". And what a finisher he is. Joined USL League One with Charlotte Independence last year, scored 20 in all comps. This season already double figures in all competitions, not including the goal he scored last night. Rosamilia, he was the star on Wednesday. Brown providing width. Caputo looking through. It's read well by Powder. Perhaps space for Sadie to break. Has support as well. This is Obregon. Weaving through traffic. Obregon! Oh, what a strike that is! An equalizer in very loud fashion. And who else? He is a goal-scoring machine, and the machine is up and running in Knoxville. Juan Carlos Obregon Jr., take a bow. Nobody closes him down, just puts his laces through this. No chance for Johan Garibay. It's dipping, it's ferocious, it has venom, and it's 1-1. An 8th in league play for JC Obregon Jr. He now stands alone atop the Golden Boot race. And make it a 13th in all competitions. And just like that, the early mistake has been neutralized. Game on. Well, if you're just joining us, you've missed another moment of magic from Juan Carlos Obregon Jr., who is providing those with regularity. And we already have a great one brewing here in Knoxville. This is Kelly, drifting wide from his typical center midfield position. And he has won Knoxville its first corner of the match. First corner of the night for Abel Caputo and company. Hooking in, it's dangerous. Ends up running all the way through. Zarkostas. Jackman claims with relative comfort. Fans, that corner kick was brought to you by Precision Concrete Solutions, proud members of the East Tennessee community, building together. Well, Dane Jackman, time to rebound from the early mistake, and now he's on a level playing field because Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. has backed up his goalkeeper and then some. And early on, we find ourselves in what could wind up being another classic between these two teams. Well, fans, the USL on ESPN2. Watch July 26th for a Jägermeister Cup matchup between Championship club Detroit City FC and League One newcomer Westchester SC on Saturday, July 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Here's Bolaños. Powder. Guzin. Always tricky with the ball at his feet. Taking this in, does not reach Daniel Baumann, who is making a delayed run into the area. Comes clear for Babacar Dieng, who has support as well. Playing it through to Zarakostas. Tries for goal and may have been caught between two minds. Decent sojourn forward this. Counter, little 3-on-3 action, and Zarakostas seems torn between the decision at cross and shoot, and that is the byproduct of it. We are 20 minutes gone, a 1-1 scoreline here at Covenant Health Park, the shining, glimmering new venue that hosts one Knoxville SC matches. Babacar Dieng opening the scoring in the second minute. Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. just about 15 minutes later, providing an equalizer with a spectacular from outside the area. And it is important to note, this Westchester team entering tonight led the league in goals scored from outside the penalty area with 8. That is the 9th. The league record is 14. It came from Northern Colorado Hailstorm in the 2023 season. So Westchester well on its way to matching or exceeding that number. 9 of its now 21 goals coming from outside the box. Here's Johnson, scored the match winner after a slick bit of interplay in that AV Alta match. Now through to Rosamilia. He tries, overcooked it. Not a bad effort by any means. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Dieng. He drew first blood for one Knox. Looking to switch the play to Brown. Didn't hit it properly, though. It must be said, Westchester has responded excellently to their early mistake. They've progressively taken this match over and slowly starting to show more confidence since the Obregon spectacular. Powder. What they would do for him to get back amongst the goals. Teta picks out Obregon. Now Sadie. Nearly won this back. It is an interesting story for Westchester, a team that spent big money to bring in some of the top contributors across the USL spectrum. A number of former USL Championship MLS contributors. When you think about the likes of Rashid Teta, Kimar Lawrence, Andrew Jean-Baptiste, all joining the fold. And not to mention a red-hot forward in Juan Carlos Obregon Jr., who's paired up with Johnny Bolaños. They were expected to contend not just for a playoff berth, but a potential USL League One title. And things just haven't panned out, in large part due to injuries to the likes of Kimar Lawrence, Rashid Teta, missing a large part of the start of the season as well. As Brown crosses this in first time, just ran beyond Zarakostas. But talking to Dave Carton about that, he says ultimately there's no dropped heads. Kelly wins it back, looking through to Dieng, and somehow that doesn't amount to more for one Knox. But Dave Carton said, yes, part of it's injuries, and I think defensively there have been a lot of lapses, be it individual moments, collective concentration as well. They've been on a knife edge in a lot of games. You look at the numbers, it's a Westchester team that is 1-4 in 5 matches in the last 7, decided by a goal or less. So it speaks to them being competitive in a lot of these contests, even holding leads in them, and just fading. Dave Carton saying, I feel like we will get the rub of the green at some point. And then when we do, I think we'll have potential to build. But we're not getting many reinforcements in terms of health anytime soon. A lot of these key contributors that are out for multiple weeks at a time. So this is the group we have, and we need to find a way to win with it. Credit to him, does not make any excuses for the predicament his side finds themselves in. On the other end of things, one Knoxville regarded for their elite defensive contributions, but last year the big sticking point was a lack of goals, a team that scored the least in the competition in USL League One. This year there have been bouts of problematic offensive moments, but 5 goals in the last 2, and the AV Alta match, perhaps the pièce de la résistance of their recent attacking displays, a 3-goal renaissance. And when you look at the way they scored that winner, the back heel from Angelo Kelly to pick out Callum Johnson, who took it with so much confidence from just inside the area, it was a sign of how far Ian Fuller's brought this side going forward. He himself mentioned that was a big point of emphasis this year, finding a way to create more goals without compromising their defensive solidity. They found themselves starting to toe that line with more comfort. Here's Jaheim Brown, he's a big part of that. Zarakostis, low cross in, Teta gets a pair of boots to it, and only as far as Brown. Rosamilia. Angelo Kelly, someone who's shown so much versatility, can play in that proper 6 role, can play as an 8. Even deployed as a winger to begin last year. Sprayed wide to Brown. Caputo, bundled over by Bauman. No hesitation from our referee, the yellow comes out. Both center midfielders in the book for Westchester, and no debate about it. Daniel Bauman is the deeper lying of the 2 center midfielders. You see him dive in, gets none of the ball, and all of Abel Caputo's ankle. It is a high-risk, high-reward challenge, and, well, the risk is accompanied by a yellow card. Set piece beckons here for one Knox. It's a rather appetizing position as well. A number of blue shirts crowding the edge of the area. Decent delivery this. Haugley went up for it. Denny Fernandez will lose out to Obregon, whose defensive shift does the trick. Well, you got your first look at the reigning Player of the Week in USL League One, Danny Fernandez. It was his late penalty that allowed them to earn a come-from-behind victory at Tormenta last Saturday. Busy stretch for both these clubs, 3 matches in 7 days. Dave Carton mentioning how they, especially with their health situation, need to balance training with keeping lads fresh. This is a Westchester team that a week ago at FC Naples brought just 4 outfield players as substitutes. That's how depleted they were. Stephen Payne has since worked his way back into the squad, and they have a bit of a deeper unit tonight, but he's not a team that can afford any further ailments. This ball is well beyond Guzen's range. On the precipice of the 30-minute threshold, for those just joining us, Sam Goldfarb here from Covenant Health Park. Over 6,000 seat venue, which hosts One Knoxville matches. The new home for One Knoxville SC, sharing it as well with the Knoxville Smokies in minor league baseball. It's a 1-1 scoreline. Babacar Dieng opening things after just 2 minutes. A brutal Dane Jackman error doing the job. But then this man, Juan Carlos Obregon Jr., providing moments of brilliance in the 17th with another long-range spectacular. Johnson. Loose touch from Obregon. There is Ian Fuller, the first-year headman of One Knoxville SC. Someone appointed on December 4th, and what a job he has done. He led One Knox through a period of 7 matches away from home in all comps to begin the competition as they waited for their new stadium to be ready to host competitions. And he has so much experience, be it at Minnesota United during his 8 years as an assistant, even at Orlando City and Charleston Battery as well. He is a well-traveled coach with tons of elite-level experience, and what a job he's done. His counterpart, Dave Carton, plenty of time in USL League One. Former assistant of Mike Jeffries at Charlotte Independence and playing a crucial role in Charlotte's run to the USL League One final in 2023. Fell just short on penalty kicks in that. And he's mentioned imposing a clearly defined attack-minded style. You see it beginning to develop with each passing match. Now the question is that blend of free-flowing attacking style and pragmatism defensively. That is the line he is trying to toe, as Obregon is slow to get up after that coming together at midfield. As far as Ian Fuller is concerned, he's tasked with building on what was a rather interesting campaign for One Knox in their second ever pro season in 2024. One Knoxville side that last year went through coaching turnover, let Mark McKeever go in August of last year. Still found their way into the playoffs as the best defense in the league. They finished 5th in the table, but falling 2-1 to Greenville Triumph in their first ever playoff match. So now it's about building on that and trying to progress deeper into November. As we get another look at what left Obregon prone on the deck. Perhaps that's what started things. Seems content to continue, though. Zarakostas. Sliding it towards Dieng. Here's Sievert Haugley, Swiss Army knife, who's normally a defensive midfielder for One Knoxville, but functioning as a center back alongside Skelton tonight. It is a true back four. Danny Fernandez out of position at left back. Kelly plays it off to Johnson. The whistle is blown before Johnson can uncork that. And this is a very inviting spot for a free kick. No questions here. You see Kelly dart inside, late challenge from Bobby Pierre. That's what draws the referee's ire. And in many respects, it's good that he didn't play advantage there, because this is a much better opportunity. Babacar Dieng, the lone man in the vicinity at this current moment. Five-man wall for Westchester. Dieng and Caputo in the mix. Dieng drilling it right off the legs of the wall. Final 10 minutes of this first half. The match still hangs on a knife edge. You look around USL League One, same score lines as we highlighted before. Charlotte the 1-0 advantage over Portland Hearts of Pine. Chattanooga with a 1-0 lead over Spokane in that top of table 6-pointer. And if that result holds, that would be quite monumental. Would send Chattanooga into the top 3 as things stand. What a year for Scott McKenzie's lads. A team that struggled through the 2024 campaign, resurgent with its change of style in 2025. Kelly towards Johnson, no real issues for Goosen and company. Available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. On the precipice of halftime, 1-1 scoreline. But a chance potentially, as Gary Bay is off his line of bash, out of trouble. Early goal scored by Babacar Dieng just 2 minutes in. J.C. Obregon Jr. providing fireworks to level things in the 17th. And we've been at a stalemate ever since. Both teams enjoying bouts of possession. Knoxville definitely the aggressor. It pales in comparison to Wednesday night when they were completely overrun by an AV Alta side that has only been outpossessed once. I'll give you a hint. That came against this Westchester side. Right now, overrunning a Westchester team that usually enjoys a good chunk of the ball. Here's Caputo, the former Lexington SC man who has moved across barrel brawl lines this year. Playing it wide to Fernandez. Rare foray forward for him. Caputo again. Decent ball through. Working cross towards Zarkostis. Did well to get his head to it. Committed a foul against Powder in the process. And there is Stavros Zarkostis, dynamic winger for one Knoxville, joined from the Greek second tier last summer. The biggest challenge Ian Fuller issued him and many wingers on the one Knoxville roster this season was to produce more product in the final third. Last year, wingers staying a bit further wide. This year, he wants them to hunt goal more, and Zarkostis' numbers jump off the charts. 2 goals and 6 assists in all competitions already this year. He's proven to be a rather difficult force to contend with on the right flank. Zarkostis himself, a former MLS Super Draft pick by New York Red Bulls in 2020. Picked 62nd overall in that draft. Zarkostis went to the University of Rhode Island. Rosamilia, the Rutgers graduate. Thinking this in towards Zarkostis. Bobby Pierre doing just enough. It towards Obregon. Well, outside of Obregon's long-range effort, it's been a rather quiet night for Johan Garibay. Year 2 as a professional, has spent the bulk of it backing up Sean Lewis, but we've mentioned he's no stranger to stepping up in big moments. Ian Fuller is confident with his abilities behind Lewis on the depth chart. I'm sure any doubt he may have had was eradicated by the way Garibay began the season. Shut down for a one Knoxville team that was the last unbeaten in USL League One. Brown cuts it back to Caputo. And here's Zarakostas again. Dispossessed here by Bolaños. Well, how about this turn of events in USL League One? As you look at the scores around the league, right now, Chattanooga Red Wolves leads 2-0 over Spokane Velocity. The goal scored by Omar Hernandez. So in that top 4-6 pointer, which also carries some bearing over how the table would look if Knoxville wins tonight. The home side, Chattanooga Red Wolves with the 2-0 lead over the league leaders, who have not lost in an actual 90-minute affair in league play since late March. Johnson sprays this wide to Fernandez. Has support in the form of Rosamilia. Caputo. Kelly. Knoxville just waiting for that final bit of incision to emerge. Here's Fernandez's cross. And Sadie shoving Caputo down to the deck. This is another very well-placed free kick. This is definitely a rough period for Westchester. The question is, can they drag themselves to halftime on a level playing field? This is another major test for their back line. This time from the opposite flank as the last free kick. Babacar Dieng took it on the precipice of 30 minutes. He seems to vacate for Angelo Kelly. Kelly, the lone man standing over this. Tries for goal! Not far off. It was always rising and never dipping. Not a bad effort, this. Hits it with the inside of his boot. Tries to pick out that top right corner and ultimately just sprays it high and wide. Definitely something for Dane Jackman to monitor. Obregon, quick turn. Trying to cut inside, does so! It's a save by Garibay, but a handball anyways. The ball touched his hand in the build-up. Another moment of one-on-one brilliance from Obregon, but the ball pops up, clearly hits that right hand, and it would have been saved anyways. That replay presented by Bush's best. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Final minute of the initial 45. Westchester just trying to claw themselves to halftime level. They have been under it for a large spell of this first half. Kelly comes through to Bauman, and now Prince Sadie still trying to wiggle his way free a bit. Guzin. This is Obregon. has been a remarkable year for Westchester in terms of getting this project off the ground. Remember, this team announced not too long ago, in May of 2024 to be precise, and competing in the professional ranks just 10 months later. It's been a rapid turnaround for the club owned by Mitch Berukowitz and his team. Has done a tremendous job building this from the ground up. Training ground routine, trying to get it through to Obregon, and a last-ditch recovery by Rosamilia does the job. This is likely a final foray forward for Westchester in this first half. Pierre with the long throw. Obregon chesting it. Stabbed away by Haugley. Nothing as far as Johnson, though. Final minute of the added two. Here's Dian. He's hunting the run of Zarakostis and caught a late boot from Bobby Pierre. May have actually been Rashid Teta who left his boot in the mix. It is Teta who receives a long talking to from our lead official, Mark Verso. Remember, Teta has been involved in a few challenges on the edge of the area. And well, there is the halftime whistle. An eventful opening 20 minutes, and then Knoxville domination, but still trying to find a way through this surprisingly obdurate Westchester back line. Babacar Dieng opening the scoring just 2 minutes in. J.C. Obregon Jr. providing a moment of brilliance to pull the visitors level. And as things stand, all square at halftime. One Knox with work to do if it hopes to notch a third consecutive league victory. Well, at halftime, the score is Knoxville 1, Westchester 1. Dieng capitalizing on the early Jackman mistake. And then on the other end of things, J.C. Obregon providing the moment of brilliance. Halftime is brought to you by Realty Executives. When we return, a look around USL League One. Stick with us on ESPN+.
Gig speed internet from the big guys, gig speed internet from KUB Fiber. What's the difference? Ours is truly gig speed. Do a speed check and see if you're getting what you pay for. Then make the switch to KUB Fiber. pay for. Then make the switch to KUB Fiber.
We welcome you back to Knoxville. We're at halftime, presented by Realty Executives. Our score is 1 Knox 1, Westchester 1. A thrilling opening 20 minutes met by Knoxville domination, but still a stalemate after 45 minutes of action. It's time to take a look around USL League One and the upcoming Jägermeister Cup fixtures to round out the group stage for all of our clubs in the league. Halftime schedule, or excuse me, this is the upcoming schedule presented by Realty Executives. You look at the Jägermeister Cup matches, starting with Omaha hosting Texoma on Wednesday night. Westchester will be on ESPN2. They are traveling to Detroit for a nationally televised game to round out Group 4 action. Meanwhile, 1 Knoxville, they take on Chattanooga Red Wolves in another edition of the Smoky Mountain Smackdown, the second meeting this month. They'll be hoping to avenge their 1-0 defeat that occurred on July 5th. And then as you had later in the week as well, FC Naples visiting Greenville Triumph. Greenville currently tops Group 6. They could win the group with a win on Saturday. And then as we head deeper into the schedule, once again presented by Realty Executives, you see Union Omaha, they play Saturday as well against El Paso Locomotive. That's a Jaeger Cup game. Their game Wednesday, a league match, of course. And then as you head further down, Spokane hosting Sacramento in what should be a thriller. AV Alta hosting Monterey Bay FC. If you know anything about AV Alta, they are not intimidated by championship opposition. Brian Claiborne's side plays its way, and it dominates matches against whoever it faces. That is your look around the USL League One and the Jägermeister Cup. It is now time to learn more about the experience presented by El Jimador Spike Bebidas, a video docuseries that shows the history, passion, and community of USL clubs and their supporter groups. This latest episode showcases Rhode Island FC and their support group Defiance 1636. It is available on youtube.com/USL now.
We want to be the loudest people around. We want you to hear where we are at.
Oh, what a goal!
No one thought we would do what we did against Louisville.
We were hot, we were clicking, we were scoring goals.
Even after the whistle blew and they were champions, forget about it. Raise your scarves. We kept playing.
I don't think I've heard a louder scream from a group of people than we did that night.
That's the important thing about this group. They never stop loving their team.
This week on USL All Access, the new Tampa Bay Rowdies head coach Tom Casciato and the Hartford Athletic head coach Brendan Burke joins us ahead of their big matchup here in Rhode Island.
El Clamaco, one of the crown jewels of the USL Championship, Centerville Bank Stadium, takes center stage on CBS. They're healthy. Are the results going to follow? Both coaches break down why they think success is in the future.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
Who wants that smoke? You want that smoke? Look, I ain't playing, I'm saying this ain't a joke. There ain't no bluffing, I'm calling you out for show. It's either all in or nothing, I go for broke. Who wants that smoke?
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a load off it. Take a load for free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. 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 What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
Service on the corner, and it's 1-0 City. Sadie scores, leveling for Westchester.
Blew my mind away.
It's not just a nationwide company that's trying to get your money and then jacking up your prices every other month.
$65 a month, every month, no questions asked.
It's so fast.
So my speeds have quadrupled, actually.
Believe me, you will see the difference.
If you can get KUB fiber in your neighborhood, get it. 10 out of 10, I would recommend it.
We welcome you back to Knoxville. It's time for our news and notes throughout USL League One. And how about the incoming clubs for next year in 2026? Athletic Club Boise and Fort Wayne FC hiring sporting directors as they make the move into USL League One. And speaking of new clubs, Corpus Christi FC retaining its current USL League Two branding when it joins for 2026. Finally, Portland Hearts of Pine, they earned their first away victory after 7 attempts. And they also snapped Texoma's 9-match unbeaten run. On the subject of USL League One, let's jump into our Team of the Week. And a familiar face headlines it. Danny Fernandez, the Player of the Week in Week 19. Mark Doyle also named to Team of the Week after scoring the equalizer at Tormenta in what was a 2-1 victory for One Knoxville. And talking of Player of the Week, it's time to take a look at Danny Fernandez's excellent performance that came at South Georgia Tormenta, scoring the game-winning penalty in the 87th minute from the spot after a lovely performance in the heart of defense. He was the standout performer for Week 19 and One Knoxville's headliner in that 2-1 victory. As we look around USL League One, we already showed you some of the scores during our first half of play. Here is where things currently stand with our live scores presented by Realty Executives. Still a 1-0 advantage for Charlotte Independence over Portland Hearts of Pine. And how about this? This would be the surprise of the night. Scott McKenzie's side, a 2-0 advantage over Spokane Velocity. And then later tonight, don't go anywhere because we have USL League One After Dark, AV Alta hosting FC Naples. That rounds out an action-packed week in USL League One. We will step aside briefly when we return. A look back at the first half here from Knoxville. Stick with us.
Fiber internet from the big guys, fiber internet from KUB. What's the difference? No fine print. Get true gig speed internet for just $65 a month. No contracts, no slowdowns, no disclaimers. KUB Fiber. Fiber internet from the big guys, fiber internet from KUB. What's the difference? No fine print. Get true gig speed internet for just $65 a month. No contracts, no slowdowns, no disclaimers. KUB Fiber.
Back here in Knoxville, we're at halftime, presented by Realty Executives. We are all square between One Knox and Westchester SC. The second meeting with the same scoreline as the first at halftime, as we take a look at the standout moments from the opening 45 minutes of play. And what a start it was. We got off to a flyer if you're a Knoxville supporter. After just 2 minutes, this direct play towards Babacar Dieng. Dane Jackman off his line, mistimes it, and Dieng finishes it off with relative aplomb. Our halftime highlights, presented by Realty Executives, started with some firepower off the top. This a calamitous error by Jackman. And then after that, we had some chances brewing both ways. Westchester trying to find Obregon. This a first-time effort that Gary Bay tips wide of his post, but don't go anywhere because Obregon would pop up again 3 minutes later, and this time he'd make 0 mistakes. Sadie picking him out, Obregon with plenty of runway, and if you know anything about him, close him down. They don't close him down there. He makes them pay with another sensational strike from well outside the area. No chance for Gary Bay, and we're knotted at 1-1. One Knox almost responded right away. Stavros Zarkostas caught between two minds here, between whipping it across and trying for goal. And then some free kick opportunities for One Knox. Angelo Kelly with the best of the lot, just missing high and wide. And then on the stroke of halftime, Westchester with some late chances brewing. You see here Obregon latching onto this, and if it doesn't hit his hand here, you figure it may potentially have Westchester in a prime position. Gary Bay denied him anyways, though. And speaking of our first half moments, here's your look at the stats. One Knox overrunning Westchester, a Golden Apple side that rarely is outpossessed, let alone only having 30% of the ball. That is the case tonight. Meanwhile, One Knox out shooting them 7-2. Westchester's only shot on goal, the Obregon strike. And what is not shown here on our halftime stats presented by Realty Executives are XG numbers. One Knox 0.36 for the game, and Westchester 0.09. The goal scored by Obregon, definitely a low XG opportunity, but dispatch of it, he did. That is your look at the bigger picture. Westchester, if they hope to get a result, trying to have a bigger share of possession. And they've made a change along those lines. Taimu Okiyoshi, the loanee from Rhode Island FC, who joined the fold on Wednesday, is in off the bench again for Westchester. He's a proper center midfielder who likes to break up play and someone who's known for bossing the ball. Replaces Daniel Bauman, who was already on a yellow card. Wise changed by Dave Carton as he looks to shake up the state of affairs in midfield. Well, all to play for once again. One Knox and Westchester quickly building a reputation of narrowly contested matches between the two. A 1-1 draw in June. It is all square at 1 apiece at halftime here in July. The question is, can one of these two sides claim the 3 points? Knoxville now going right to left on your screen. Westchester from left to right, and back underway from Knoxville, Tennessee. All to play for still between Westchester and One Knox. If you are just joining us, we welcome you back into East Tennessee, as an early yellow is already shown to Danny Fernandez for that challenge on Joel Johnson. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. A 1-1 scoreline after 45 minutes of play. It was a lively opening 20 especially. You see Sadie there bundled over as you get a look at that replay. Roll the beautiful bean footage. Not a beautiful challenge, that. And Danny Fernandez, unfortunately, to his chagrin, is walking the tightrope for the remainder of this one. So we already mentioned the change for Westchester, the Rhode Island FC loanee, Taimu Okiyoshi, in his first professional campaign, replacing Daniel Bauman. Okiyoshi reaching the national championship game as one of the best midfielders in the country with Marshall. Now Obregon is sent tumbling. And this is well within Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. range. In a match this narrowly contested, you wonder if a set piece is what may do the job. Obregon actually will cede this. does favor the left foot of Guzin or Sadie, and both of them stand in the vicinity. Four-man wall for Knoxville with Kelly lingering as well. Guzin curling it right into the thick of the wall. That. And now Guzin sent tumbling, and the referee does blow the whistle against Zarakostas. The Knoxville supporters less than thrilled, but definitely appeared to be a shove in it. Rosamilia. This time fouled by Johnson. You get the sense that in a match this closely contested, neither team wants to make it free-flowing. Westchester does thrive on the counter, but sometimes caught the opposite direction when things get too open. That's been the trend for Dave Carton's side this year. And One Knoxville, we all know, locking up shop, definitely the preference. Everything starts with their defense, and then creating with the solid backbone at the back. Could become a pretty nasty battle between the lines if this scoreline drags on. Of course, One Knox, a fully deep bench that includes James Thomas, who has yet to feature this year. Someone who was a pretty frequent presence at right back for One Knox a year ago. This season out with a long-term injury to begin the year and has been gradually working his way back. Rosamilia. Obregon. Left it dangling for Danny Fernandez. Now has options ahead as well. Look through to Kelly. Couldn't pick him out. Fernandez again. Kelly. Quick turn. He drags Teta well out of position now. Cross deflects back to Jackaman. Confident display from Dane Jackaman since the early miscue. Hasn't been forced into any dramatic saves yet, but has asserted himself well. Has not made any rash decisions. It's been an excellent response from him. Of course, still quite young. Dave Carton saying this week, it's really the first season since his academy days that he's been a true proven number one. He's on loan from Loudoun United and was the backup a year ago for Hugo Faru, who's still excellent between the sticks for the Pegasus. But because of that, hasn't had a lot of opportunity to shake the rust off and handle the concept of being a number one with someone behind you. So there have been occasional mistakes made, but Dave Carton regularly discusses how talented he is and his propensity to make big saves. It's been on full display even in the matches Westchester has lost since he's returned to the squad. Brown. Still looking to use him to his desired effect as an attacking fullback. Rosamilia. This is Callum Johnson, and now they pick out Jaheim Brown. Early cross in that's stabbed away by Juan Palma, who's acquitted himself quite nicely in his first match following the Spokane debacle, conceding that penalty that led to Anwar Pelaez's winner. Of course, all of that wiped off courtesy of the forfeit win. Zarkostas. This is Obregon. It was his moment of magic that pulled Westchester level in the first half. You look at his goal scoring record, it is jaw-dropping. Someone who has now scored 13 goals in all competitions. You look at the league numbers, Obregon with 9 of Westchester's 21. Excuse me, 8 of their 21. It would be 9 of 23 had the 2 goals counted on Wednesday night. And that's with him occasionally struggling from the penalty spot. Guzin hooking this in. Well, soccer season is here. Geek, your ticket to great seats. There is not a bad seat in the house at Covenant Health Park. I tell you what, it is a sensational venue, one that is the product of over $114 million of public investment. I've already mentioned the home of the Knoxville Smokies as well as one Knoxville SC. Pitch relatively wide for a baseball diamond as well. Sometimes the concern is that there's not a lot of space to play between the lines. This is definitely a more open baseball field pitch. Johnson plays this forward. Zarkostas just left it loose. And now wins it back. Just loses his footing on that far side. It feels like at times Stavros Zarkostas is a couple footsteps away from truly breaking through. Kelly. Deflected cross that finds its way to Palma. Here is Noah Powder. Obregon offside. We already showed you the numbers off the top. A Westchester SC squad that has dropped the most points from winning positions in league play. It's 22 already, which is definitely not an ideal stat. Have already set the league record for most points dropped from winning positions. Excuse me, matched it. They did so in 19 fewer matches. I've noticed in the last few games flashing some resilience, tonight included. Against Spokane, trailed twice, but managed to level it up both times before finally falling on that 71st minute penalty kick. And again, bailed out there anyways due to the aforementioned announcement on Thursday, but it's a team that is starting to find a way to score some results over the line. And tonight, battling from behind again. Set piece for Obregon, Johnson, and Guzin. Obregon hooks it in. Decent delivery that doesn't quite clear the first man. Now he will get this back. First time cross. Obregon hunting the run of Sadie. Just overcooked it. We inch towards the hour mark. Still a 1-1 scoreline between one Knoxville and Westchester in the second meeting of the year. An early goal scored by Babacar Diagne, neutralized by JC Obregon's long-range effort 14 minutes later. And ever since then, we've been... The question is, can they find a way to break through what is one of the more difficult back lines to crack in USL League One? 2 changes being readied by one Knox. We'll have those for you in a matter of moments. Guzin hunting the return ball for Powder. Just loses that foot race, though. Will be Kamarni Smith and Mikkel Goling who are getting set to enter. Callum Johnson, one of the men who will vacate. Attack-minded changes for sure. Mikkel Goling, someone who's more of an attacking midfielder, and Kamarni Smith is a true out-and-out winger, someone who is a former top 5 pick in the MLS Super Draft. Kelly, Johnson, threading it through to Dien. Brought down just outside the area. Appeals waved away immediately. Hearing that the men who will make way for Knoxville are Stavros Zarkostis as well as Callum Johnson. This is picked up in midfield. Sadie cutting inside. Into that favored left, read perfectly by the one Knoxville defense. Johnson, likely his last involvement of the evening. And now the substitutions will enter. The Englishman Kamarni Smith, as well as the Danishman Mikkel Goling, a pair of European lads set to enter. Stavros Zarkostis will make way, as will Callum Johnson. 2 relatively like-for-like changes, although Goling definitely a little more assertive going forward than Callum Johnson. Kamarni Smith, definitely a tremendous talent, someone who joined League One last year with Spokane Velocity, but struggled to break into the side. A few years back, though, 4th overall pick by DC United in the MLS Super Draft. Could never truly establish himself during his time in the MLS, but still boasts tremendous quality. Brown weaving inside, low driver, stabbed away. Now Sadie. Guzin. Rosamilia. Goling, his first involvement. Flashing cross towards Dien. Charged away by Okiyoshi. Angelo Kelly. We'll look for that right flank to be the point of emphasis for one Knoxville. Jaheim Brown and Kamarni Smith paired up on that right-hand side. I think that will give opposing defenders nightmares. It's definitely a task for Bobby Pierre, the makeshift left back, to handle. Josh Drack still on the subs bench. Just wonder when Dave Carton maybe makes a change. Well, there will be a change taking place for Westchester, but it won't involve either of those two. Instead, Erman Makic, who scored on Wednesday night, replacing Prince Sadie. I wonder if that means that Johnny Bolaños will move out to that right-hand side and allow Makic to partner Obregon up top. Sadie's night comes to a close shortly after the hour mark. Can't replicate the goal he scored against one Knox in June, but did log an assist on Obregon's tremendous strike. And another industrious display on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, I should say. Meanwhile, Makic, the Yonkers native who scored his first professional goal on Wednesday night, into the fray, although I don't know if the goal counts on his professional record. Individual stats were wiped following the forfeit, so he may have to replicate that feat to have it officially logged in the record book. Guzin Here is Makic's first touch. Bolaños tries to pick out Obregon, wasn't far off. Samilia now. Plenty of space for Smith to chase. Far too tight on Jacobin. Oh, it is interesting as we head into the closing stanza of this fixture is that Westchester SC, we've already mentioned some of their defensive struggles. When you look at some advanced numbers, including the percentage of shots allowed that have gone into your goal, Westchester this season currently the all-time high in that category, 18.24% of the shots they've allowed have found their way into the back of Jacobin or Hammersley's net. But what's very wild about that number is 4 of the top 5 in that category all are this season teams in USL League One, as Danny Fernandez will win a corner for One Knox. But in a match that's so tightly contested such as this one, I wonder if it's a moment where things go awry that could change it. Well, fans, this corner kick is brought to you by Precision Concrete Solutions, proud members of the East Tennessee community, building together. In the first corner of this second half for One Knoxville. Corner's at a premium tonight. In-swinging ball towards goaling at the back post. Rather comfortable, I should say, for Jacobin to contend with. When you delve into those numbers, especially when you factor in that Westchester is top of that statistic, talking about getting the rub of the green, there are moments where a shot gets deflected or takes a fortunate hop or a simple mistake happens that are outliers, and you wonder if that percentage is also due to a series of outlying moments on top of occasional defensive lapses. Obregon again! Nearly replicated his feat from the first half. It just hooks beyond that top right corner. Gary Bay would have had no shot at it. Now Obregon tussling for it. This time loses out to goaling. Dien. Will this open up over the final 25 minutes? Rosamilia. Fernandez. Rosamilia with space. Falls for Danny Fernandez. Ventures into the area. Deflected out for another One Knox corner. Just the third corner of the night for One Knox. Westchester has yet to attempt one. And once again, this corner kick is brought to you by Precision Concrete Solutions, proud member of the East Tennessee community, building together. Another chance for Abel Caputo to wreak some havoc from the near side. In-swinger towards goaling once again. Doesn't reach him, and Erman Makic providing the necessary intervention. Prompts another change for One Knoxville. Comes in the form of Heath Martin, the Knoxville native who dons number 15, a number reserved for Knoxville-born players only. Replaces Abel Caputo. Heath Martin slowly seeing his role grow as the year has progressed and gets another crack at things. Played a big 53 minutes in place of the injured Stuart Ritchie. More of a listed left back. So shape-wise, if you are One Knoxville, as you see Dane Jacobin slow to return to his feet, this could perhaps open up Danny Fernandez to slide into his natural center back role. And then you bump Sievert Haugley into the defensive mid position. I believe that's what Ian Fuller is going for here. That would accommodate Heath Martin at his natural left back spot. He joined the club from Club de Lyon in Niça. Spent 2 seasons in the National Independent Soccer Association before rejoining One Knox in March. Plenty of tactical comings and goings in Ian Fuller's mind. I've already talked about his extensive pedigree, 8 years under Adrian Heath, primarily at Minnesota United. Someone who also played 11 years in the American Soccer Pyramid. First round pick himself in the 2002 MLS Super Draft. Made 180 career appearances during his time as an MLS player. I'm having words with his goalkeeper, Johan Garibay, as they plot a roadmap to victory here tonight. There's a unique connection throughout One Knoxville of former Clemson players, the likes of Camarnie Smith, Callum Johnson, and of course Ian Fuller, who himself played at Clemson. Here's the long throw in from Jaheim Brown. Jackman claims authoritatively. But also Young Harris College as well. College in Young Harris, Georgia, that Mark McKeever used to coach at. And you see the connection of former Young Harris players who made their way over to Knoxville during Mark McKeever's tenure and have stayed under Ian Fuller's tutelage as well. Makic. Forced wide. Passing it towards Obregon. Cleared only as far as Taimu Okiyoshi. Johnson. Well, fans can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM-FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM-FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. And on cue, Taimu Okiyoshi, the substitute, is booked for that late challenge. Take another look at this. Colling trying to wriggle through traffic, and you see Okiyoshi catches him, studs to the ankles. No malice in it, but certainly a yellow card worthy offense. Just the third Westchester man in the book so far. Knoxville with only one to be cautioned. It is Danny Fernandez, who, as we've already noted, now at center back, so that frees up Martin to play left back, and now Sievert Haugley can play in his more natural defensive midfield role. Well, throughout the league, busy night, and how about this? Chattanooga Red Wolves, a 3-0 lead over Spokane Velocity. A drubbing in Chattanooga. Meanwhile, we're hearing word now that Portland Hearts of Pine have literally just leveled things at American Legion Memorial Field. So that scoreline will update in a matter of moments. But it's all square in Charlotte, which opens the door for One Knox to knife the gap between themselves and Independence in the top 5 of the table. So here are the updated scores. Portland level at Charlotte, Chattanooga throttling Spokane. There is never a dull moment in USL League One, which is why you should keep your mind, your eyes tethered to this fixture for the final 20 minutes or so. Camarnie Smith. Clever flick of it. Now Palma. Much more assured performance at center back from him this evening. Obregon committing the transgression against Jordan Skelton. It looked like there was a little bit of dark arts involved there. I don't think the man of Jordan Skelton's size goes down just out of sheer coincidence in that context. Fernandez. Lovely switch of the play. This is Camarney Smith. Working on Pierre. Crossing it into Rosamilia. Is there an avenue to wiggle free? Brown. Smith again. Room to run now. Pick out Brown with the return ball. Only as far as Fernandez. Falls for Golang. Tried to thread it through to Dien. Just a few inches off kilter. Westchester finds itself pinned deep in its own half once again. The story of how the final 20 minutes or so of the first half unfolded, rearing its head once again. Kelly. Rosamilia gets his head to it. Finally comes clear to Obregon, and Skelton, a heavy forearm in the back, draws our referee's ire. Into the final 15 minutes, and everything still hangs in the balance. Goal square between Westchester SC and one Knoxville SC. Goals scored by Babacar Dieng after just 2 minutes, following the Dane Jackaman miscalculation coming out from his goal. 14 minutes later, J.C. Obregon Jr., a moment of long-range excellence once again to level things. Since then, the two teams battling to a stalemate. And the scoreline, as we've already mentioned, currently matches the one that we saw in Westchester County on June 7th. Goes in. That's a clever bit of genius. Forced wide by Brown. Ran out of real estate on the far side, though. And it has gone out for Westchester's first corner of the evening. This corner kick is brought to you by Precision Concrete Solutions, proud members of the East Tennessee community, building together. Dean Guzin stands over this. His first bite. Without swing. Toward the near post. Skelton is first to it. Only as far as Joel Johnson, though. Launching it towards Pierre. Bolaños. And we'll come back to an earlier challenge, I believe one that Kelly committed. Change being readied. We believe it is Westchester. Heard number 22 float throughout the venue. That is Stephen Payne, who is included amongst the substitutes. But I guess we will hear official word on things in a matter of moments. Stephen Payne is getting ready. Dean Guzin stands over this free kick. Likely will put this in the quarter of uncertainty. Instead, tries for goal, and well, might want to try again. Stephen Payne set to replace Johnny Bolaños, and that would be a defensive-minded change from Dave Carton. A bit of pragmatism perhaps slipping into those tactics as they look to bring a point home from Knoxville. It's the same scoreline we found ourselves in Wednesday night in Knoxville. An 81st minute winner after an excellent bit of interplay against AV Alta. Saw Knoxville claim the 3 points after Rosamilia provided the final blow. Scoring summary on your screen: Dien in the 2nd, Obregon in the 16th, and since then it has been a chess match contested between Ian Fuller and Dave Carton. The substitution official: Payne for Bolaños. And it is a single man up front now for Westchester. Kelly. Here's Jaheim Brown, clever flick, cross towards Dien. Service has been in the vicinity of Babacar Dien, but just not accurate enough. That final ball eluding one Knox at the moment. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Final 10 minutes from Knoxville, a 1-1 scoreline. Once again, all hanging in the balance. 3 points up for grabs. The question is, can one of these two teams seize it? Knoxville, by far the more dominant of the two entities. Westchester enjoying around 30% of the ball. In the second half, I think that disadvantage may have been exacerbated. Martin. Jaheim Brown. Marty Smith. Drags himself free of Bobby Pierre. Fernandez looking to switch, and switch he does. Haukley in a more advanced position. Rosamilia linking with Kelly. Shot blocked. Sprayed back out to Jaheim Brown. Finds Goaling. I wonder if that is the chance lost. Kelly popping up in the half space. Haukley. Nico Rosamilia again. Decent cross towards Goaling. Jackman into action. Rather routine stop, but it required his attention. A series of chances. You see Kelly pop up in the half space. Teta just gets his body in the way. And then the follow-up chance moments later. This the better of the two opportunities. A great cross from Nico Rosamilia. Goaling leveraging his height advantage. Heads it into the deck. No real trouble for Jackman in the end. Smith. Sensational hold up. One Knox readying one more change. Angelo Kelly set to exit. The Academy product, Benjamin Brophy, is getting set to replace him. And that would be an attack-minded swap. Has not transpired just yet. Set piece here. Jaheim Brown to deliver it for one Knox. Westchester playing a very high line in this scenario. Towards the heart of the area, Skelton got his head to it, but couldn't put it on target. Change coming now. Benjamin Brophy, the Academy player for One Knox, replaces Angelo Kelly officially. As One Knoxville desperately chases a winner. The USL on ESPN2. Watch July 26th for a Jägermeister Cup matchup between Championship Club Detroit City FC and League One newcomer Westchester SC on Saturday, July 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Obregon escorts it to Payne, early cross in. Put Skelton in an uncomfortable position, but handled it with relative comfort. Brophy is a Knoxville native. He is in for Angelo Kelly, a commit to Maryville College. So likely to leave Knoxville in a matter of weeks. Another corner for Westchester. Corner kick brought to you by Precision Concrete Solutions, proud members of the East Tennessee community, building together. This time an in-swinger from Guzin, assuming he doesn't go short. Curling towards the back post. And only as far as Powder. Rosamilia heads away. Nearly space for Brophy on the break. Fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to uslchampionship.com or uslleague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Final 5 minutes here from Knoxville, still all square between One Knox and Westchester. Westchester playing the role of counter-aggressor tonight. It is a much different position to what we're used to seeing from them, but doing so rather effectively. Meanwhile, Knoxville struggling to break through the Westchester back line. So many white shirts behind the ball whenever they pick it up. Dien, the lone goal scorer for Knoxville tonight. Martin. Jaheim Brown. The brighter bulbs on this Knoxville squad. Smith. Referee says play on. Now space on the far side. Cross comes in. Okiyoshi stabbing away toward the edge of the area. Smith still chasing. Stephen Payne finally able to deal with it. Obregon left isolated for large spells of the second half, but he doesn't require many touches to be effective. Guzin playing it through to Ermin Makic. Obregon again. Does Westchester have a final moment of magic in its locker? On the back foot, effectively all night. Pierre, Guzin, Obregon. Stephen Payne now Joel Johnson linking with Payne. Johnson forced wide and ran out of real estate on the near side. Babacardien officially named man of the match in the Knoxville venue, and no surprise. The goal scorer this evening causing some trouble with his runs. Now getting involved here. Smith driving towards the byline. Susan charges away only as far as Brown. Final 90 seconds of the initial 90. Obregon thrust to the deck by Skelton, who will now see yellow. That has been a battle all night. Skelton and Obregon. Physical coming together after physical coming together. Captain against captain. All eyes will be on our fourth official in a matter of moments. To some degree, a night of frustration for Ian Fuller and company. They take the early lead, they boss the run of play. But after being pegged back by one of the better strikes you'll see all week in USL League One, have battled issues trying to break through this golden apple back four. One that has oftentimes looked more like a back 5 or 6 with the number of bodies Westchester's concentrated behind the ball this evening in the second half. Kier still on the deck for Westchester. Ian Fuller booked for his reaction to the Skelton yellow card. The number is on the board, and it is 5 minutes of added time. Renewed hope, perhaps, in Covenant Health Park amongst the Knoxville faithful. More time for Westchester to try to see this out. You would figure if this ends 1-1, Dave Carton would be the happier of the two managers, I should say. But I don't think he deals in consolation prizes. I think he'd be overjoyed with a couple of opportunities the other way. Makic. Okiyoshi. Outer, early cross. Gary Bay punches. Comes out toward Rosamilia and out for a Westchester throw. Goes in. Dinking it over the top. Powder. Chipping it to the heart of the area. Makic. Just enough time for Gary Bay to recover. Knocked ahead towards Dien. Pierre reads it well. Westchester did have a man enter the book at the end of all of that chaos. Juan Palma receiving a yellow card after the coming together between Skelton and Obregon. Fernandez. Rosamilia can't take it down. And all in all, his night will be a story of resilience and perseverance. Definitely an early miscue that he'll regret, but a strong final 88 minutes and change, and even making a couple stops when called upon. Okiyoshi. Payne. Now the whistle blows again. Just wonder what this is for. There is a player down for one Knox. That is why the stoppage is transpiring. It appears to be Jaheim Brown. He's slow to return his feet after a very strong 90 minutes. A key feature at right back. And remember, Stuart Ritchie, the first choice left back, already out with injury. So it's a point of concern for Knoxville supporters in the Scruffy City. Just a second-year pro. Spent last year in his native Jamaica. Just walking off this knock as you get another look at our Bush's best replay. This is all of the chaos between Obregon and Fernandez. And after that, Brown went down. Just seems to be dealing with a bit of a stinging challenge. We're in the final minute of the added 5, and you figure we'll run well beyond the 5 minutes at this stage. Johnson over the top. Obregon gets his legs to it. Charged away only as far as Tedda. Flick on from Payne towards Mockage. Dien. Okiyoshi bundles him over. And it is actually Johnson who got involved first. Booked for persistent fouling. Late booking for Joel Johnson beyond the 5 minutes. Chance for Gary Bay to put this in the mix. Appears we may run this back. Taken too early for our referee's liking. A little bit of hand fighting in the area. Yellow card confirmed to Johnson. This likely Knoxville's final chance to snatch the points. Floating it in. Cleared away only as far as Martin. And well over the goal mouth. There's the full-time whistle. A hard-fought result for Westchester as they endure large spells of Knoxville pressure to secure a point away from home. Frustrating for one Knox, dominant for large spells, but unable to find a breakthrough in the second half. And for the second time in as many meetings, the spoils shared between one Knoxville and Westchester. It's now time for our play of the game. Roll that beautiful play of the game. Bush's Beans from Knoxville, supporting Knoxville. It is this moment of magic from Juan Carlos Obregon Jr., who cuts inside, bashes it, dips it beyond the reach of Johan Garibay for an instant goal of the week contender that leveled proceedings and ultimately helped Westchester salvage a point away from home. That is our play of the game. And now it is time for your man of the match, who is Babacar Dieng, presented by Peaceful Side Brewery's Club Light, brewed in the peaceful side of the Smoky Mountains. Babacar Dieng opening the scoring after just 2 minutes, pouncing on the early mistake by Dane Jackaman, and from there making a general menace of himself in the box. Another strong start for the reserve in place of Kempis Tequila up front. Well, things finish after 90 minutes, 1-1 between one Knoxville and Westchester. A second draw in as many meetings between these two sides. We'll step aside briefly. When we return, a look back at the 90 minutes that just transpired. Stick with us.
The change in speed was amazing.
$65 a month, every month.
It's so fast. Believe me, you will see the difference.
I've told them when it comes, you better get it quick.
The change in speed was amazing.
$65 a month, every month.
It's so fast. Believe me, you will see the difference.
I've told them when it comes, you better get it quick.
Full-time fireworks here in Knoxville on America Night, where it finishes all square between One Knoxville and Westchester SC. A hard-fought 1-1 draw that sees Westchester earn a hard-fought point in the USL League One table. And now it's time to get a look back at the fantastic 90 minutes that just transpired here from Knoxville, and what a rapid start it was from the home side. An early miscue, a catastrophic miscue by Dane Jackman, and you wondered if this would define the day for Westchester. Babacar Dieng in a routine finish to put Westchester behind after just 2 minutes. One Knoxville, a tremendous start at home, and from there, Westchester forced to play from behind. Fortunately, they have this man, Juan Carlos Obregon Jr., the league's golden boot leader, cutting inside. No one closes him down and just lashing at it on his favored right. Another tremendous strike to add to his vastly growing highlight reel. No chance for Gary Bay. Then we pivot to the second half. All One Knox for large spells, but Obregon nearly did it again in the 66th minute, just missing that top right corner with a strike that would have topped the first. And then in the final 10 minutes, One Knoxville starting to create. You see this cross come in, Mikkel Goling's header, that is just directly at Jackman, who responded quite well after conceding the early opener. You get your look at the full-time stats. One-way traffic, yes. Knoxville dominates 65% of the ball. That number actually going down from halftime, and out-shooting Westchester 13-6. But the biggest issue, clinical finishing. One Knox turning that shots and possession advantage into just 3 shots on goal. Meanwhile, Westchester flashing its clinical finishing ability with Obregon's long-range strike. A frustrating night for Knoxville, a team that dominates the run of play, but unable to pick holes in the Westchester back line and forced to settle for just a point in the league table. That keeps them currently in 5th place in the standings. Meanwhile, Westchester, they climb up to 12th with the point as of now. That is your look at the full-time stats. Knoxville with the XG advantage significantly as well. Well, for all of our terrific crew here in Knoxville, it finishes 1-1 between One Knox and Westchester. We say so long from the scruffy city. A hard-fought draw that Westchester earns despite playing on the back foot. A slightly frustrating night in Knoxville for the hosts. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. It finishes all square in Knoxville.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.